I think there's been a lot of people talking about, oh, Ruben Amorim, give him the sack now. And I say it again, like, before a ball was kicked, everyone was like, yeah, we got optimistic. I'm the same, optimistic. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we're going to improve. But 3 games, you can't sack someone after 3 games. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make sense. You've allowed them to invest in 3 new strikers, and you're going to say after 3 games when they're not even fully fit themselves, them boys, and you're going to say, right, I'm going to sack you. Doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to me, and I don't see Ineos doing that.
Manchester United, a club built on dominance, history, and attacking football.
5 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 10 Charity Community Shields, 1 European Cup Winners' Cup, 1 European Super Cup, 2 Champions League titles, Intercontinental Cup, 1 FIFA Club World Cup, and 13 Premier League titles. The impossible dream made possible by the greatest British manager ever, Sir Alex Ferguson.
But in the modern game, it's become a graveyard for managers. From David Moyes to Erik ten Hag, the story has been the same. Big promises,
and I promise you,
short-lived hope,
the good days are coming,
and a painful fall. And now, all eyes are on Ruben Amorim. The Portuguese coach came to Old Trafford with a bold vision, a man known for his tactical intelligence and his sparkling work at Sporting Lisbon. But the Premier League is unforgiving, and the question is being asked louder than ever. Is this the end of Amorim at Manchester United? Today, we're diving deep. We'll break down his recent defeats, analyze his tactical approach, and explore why this Manchester United side looks so inconsistent under his management strap-in. Because this isn't just about tactics. It's about survival, legacy, and the brutal reality of managing one of football's most chaotic clubs. When Amorim took over Manchester United, fans expected fresh ideas, attacking intent, and a modern identity. He was billed as one of Europe's most exciting young coaches, someone who could finally drag United out of the endless rebuild cycle. But fast forward to today, and the narrative has shifted. Manchester United are slipping, not climbing. The results tell their own story. Shocking defeats against mid-table sides, embarrassing collapses against the Big Six, and a general lack of control in big games. It's not just about losing, it's about how United are losing. They look disjointed, they look vulnerable. And in the Premier League, where every point counts, those cracks become fatal. Let's talk specifics. Manchester United's last 4 games paint a worrying picture. First came Arsenal at the Old Trafford, where United fought hard, but ultimately lost 1-0. It wasn't a heavy defeat, but it was telling. Arsenal controlled the midfield for large spells, and United rarely looked like scoring. The match highlighted United's biggest issue under Amorim. They can keep shape, they can work hard, but when it comes to breaking down elite defenses, there's a lack of creativity and conviction. A single lapse was enough for Arsenal to punish them, and once again, United left empty-handed from a big test. Then came Fulham, a game many expected United to win comfortably. Instead, it ended in a 1-1 draw that felt more like a defeat. Fulham pressed intelligently, and United's back 3 looked uncomfortable building from deep. While they managed to grab a goal, their inability to control the game or kill it off spoke volumes. Under Amorim, United often start well but lose control as the match wears on. And this was another prime example. A point on paper, but 2 dropped in reality. And then, the most embarrassing of all, the Carabao Cup clash with Grimsby Town. On paper, this should have been a routine win, a chance to rotate players and build confidence. Instead, it turned into a nightmare. The game finished 2-2, with United conceding sloppy goals that revealed just how fragile their defensive structure has become. In the penalty shootout, the chaos continued. A marathon of spot kicks ended in a 12-11 defeat, a humiliation that no Manchester United side should suffer against a lower league opponent. The loss wasn't just about going out of the cup. It was about pride, about mentality, about the standards of this club being dragged even lower. Finally, the most recent game came against Burnley, where United scraped a 3-2 victory thanks to a last-minute penalty. On paper, it looks like a win. 3 points secured, momentum built. But the performance told a different story. United struggled defensively, looked shaky under pressure, and needed a stroke of luck at the very end to get over the line. While a win is always welcome, it doesn't hide the cracks. In fact, it highlights them. A club of Manchester United's stature should not be relying on dramatic last-minute penalties to beat sides like Burnley. It's the kind of result that keeps a manager's job safe for another week, but it doesn't guarantee long-term progress or stability. Taken together, these 4 results tell a damning story. United are losing narrowly to the best, stumbling against the mid-table, collapsing against the minnows, and just about scraping past teams they should be comfortably beating. This isn't just inconsistency, it's an identity crisis. Under Amorim, United don't seem to know what kind of team they are. One week they look structured but toothless. The next they're disorganized and error-prone, and even their wins come with question marks. It's this unpredictability that makes them so hard to trust. And for a club chasing stability, it's a recipe for disaster. Ruben Amorim built his reputation on a very distinct tactical identity, one that turned Sporting Lisbon from a struggling side into a dominant force in Portuguese football. His blueprint is the 3-4-3, a shape designed to create width, control central zones, and suffocate opponents with relentless pressing. The positives of this system are clear. When executed correctly, it allows his team to dominate territory, pin opponents back, and maintain fluid passing networks that transition quickly from defense to attack. The wingbacks play a crucial role, stretching the field to give attackers room to operate, while the midfield duo provides balance between progression and protection. At its best, Amorim's football looks modern, intense, and innovative. But there are negatives that cannot be ignored. The 3-4-3 is a system that relies heavily on discipline and specific player profiles. If the wingbacks don't have the stamina to bomb up and down, the shape collapses. If the midfield doesn't protect transitions, gaps appear instantly, leaving the back 3 exposed. Amorim's philosophy thrives when everyone is synchronized. But when even one part of the machine falters, the entire structure looks fragile. That's the biggest challenge at Manchester United. Amorim's tactics are designed for cohesion, but this squad doesn't yet have the chemistry or the tactical intelligence to pull it off consistently. And in the Premier League, where transitions happen faster and pressing is more intense, those weaknesses are punished ruthlessly. To understand United's struggles under Amorim, you have to look at both the results and the performances behind them. Take the defeats against Arsenal, for example. It wasn't a lack of effort or possession. United actually had the ball for long stretches. The problem was what they did with it. Amorim's system produced sterile control, keeping possession without creating genuine danger. It was football without teeth, and Arsenal punished the smallest mistakes with ruthless efficiency. And then there are the games against smaller sides. Here, the problem isn't about being outclassed by elite opponents, but rather United's inability to impose themselves consistently. Teams that sit deep and defend compactly frustrate Amorim's approach. Meanwhile, their defensive shape crumbles under pressure, with individual mistakes costing them goals. The narrative that has emerged is simple. Against top teams, United look too naive. Against smaller teams, they look too predictable. This double failure has left United stranded in no man's land. Not strong enough to challenge at the top, not reliable enough to dominate the bottom. That is the heart of Amorim's problem. The biggest obstacle for Amorim at United isn't just tactical, it's structural. This squad simply doesn't fit his blueprint. At United, his options are Luke Shaw, who is more of a traditional fullback than a dynamic wingback, and Diogo Dalot, who is versatile but lacks the world-class attacking output the system demands. Without wingbacks who can stretch defenses and deliver consistently, the system loses its cutting edge. If history tells us anything, it's that managing Manchester United is a poisoned chalice. Every coach who steps into Old Trafford brings a different philosophy, and every one of them eventually leaves with the same story: failure and frustration. Mourinho promised pragmatism and silverware, and while he delivered trophies, the toxicity of his football and man management left the club fractured. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer represented the romantic dream, a link to the glory years. But his reign was based on moments, not structure. Erik ten Hag tried to instill discipline and control, but his tenure collapsed under inconsistency and off-field chaos. Now, Amorim represents the latest attempt at a new identity: tactical innovation, pressing football, and youthful energy. But the patterns are eerily familiar. Just like Mourinho, Amorim is being criticized for a lack of flexibility. Just like Solskjaer, he's accused of naivety against stronger opponents. Just like ten Hag, he's discovering that without the right players, even the smartest tactics fall apart. The problem at United isn't just the manager, it's the environment. Every coach who comes in inherits a broken structure, a squad that isn't fully aligned to their philosophy, and a fan base desperate for immediate success. Amorim might be different in style, but in substance, he's becoming yet another name in a long list of managers who were meant to bring the glory days back, but instead became part of the cycle of disappointment. So, is this the end for Rúben Amorim at Manchester United? That's the question fans and pundits are asking right now. On one hand, the case for his dismissal is clear. The results have been poor, the performance is inconsistent, and the tactical flaws glaring. Manchester United are supposed to be a club competing at the very top, not stumbling against rivals and scraping for wins against mid-table teams. In that sense, Amorim has fallen short. The Premier League doesn't offer patience, and at a club like United, the spotlight is unforgiving. One more humiliating defeat, and the calls for his sacking will only grow louder. But there's another perspective. United's problems didn't start with Amorim, and they won't end with him. The club has become notorious for chopping and changing managers, expecting miracles without providing the proper backing. Amorim is still young, still learning, and still ambitious. With time and the right signings, he could build something unique. The question is whether United are willing to give him that time. History suggests otherwise. If the board panics, if results don't improve immediately, Amorim could easily join the long list of managers who tried and failed at Old Trafford. The reality is this: Amorim's future depends not only on his tactical ideas, but on whether United finally choose patience over panic. Until then, his job will remain under constant threat. Amorim is trying to build a house with the wrong set of tools, and that mismatch between philosophy and personnel is killing his progress. So, will Amorim survive? Or is he destined to join the long list of managers chewed up and spat out by Manchester United's chaos? Only time will tell. But what's certain is this: Manchester United need more than just a new manager. They need an identity, a culture, and a strategy that goes beyond the man in the dugout. Until that happens, no coach, not even Ruben Amorim, will truly succeed here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Manchester United and Ruben Amorim, make sure to subscribe to Football Central for more tactical breakdowns and analysis.